Have you ever wondered why some people effortlessly attract wealth, while others struggle in perpetual scarcity, despite similar talents and opportunities? What if I told you money itself has been whispering its secrets to us all along, but most of us simply haven't been listening? Has this ever happened to you, feeling like prosperity is always just beyond your reach, no matter how hard you work or how much you learn? But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the globe. The truth is, we've been taught to view money all wrong from the very beginning. We see it as something external, something to chase, something that exists outside ourselves, when in reality, the relationship is far more intimate and profound than most could imagine. Florence Scovel Shinn, that remarkable spiritual teacher from the early 20th century, discovered something that would change not only her life, but the lives of countless others who embraced her wisdom. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover might fundamentally transform your entire relationship with abundance, not through complex investment strategies or hustle culture, but through a shift in consciousness that's available to anyone willing to listen. One night, when Florence found herself at rock bottom financially, holding her last coin in her trembling hands, something extraordinary happened. Instead of cursing her fate or sinking into despair, she experienced a profound revelation. Money is not merely metal or paper, not just numbers in an account. Money is a conscious energy, a living intelligence that responds to how we think about it, speak to it, and treat it. Think about that for a moment. What if every dollar that passes through your hands is actually responding to your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs? What if prosperity isn't something you chase, but something you allow to flow through you by becoming a clear channel? This isn't mystical thinking. It's about understanding the vibrational nature of our universe that quantum physics has been revealing to us. The secret that money whispered to Florence that night was that abundance has never been outside us. It's an expression of our inner world made manifest. Every fearful thought, every complaint about lack, every moment of resenting the wealthy or feeling unworthy of prosperity, money hears it all. And like any relationship, the energy we bring to it determines what we receive in return. What would change in your life if you began speaking to money as a conscious ally rather than an elusive adversary? How might your financial situation transform if you recognized yourself as the heir to divine abundance rather than a beggar hoping for scraps from the universe's table? The wealthiest, most consistently abundant people throughout history have understood this fundamental truth, whether consciously or intuitively. They relate to money differently. They command rather than beg. They expect rather than hope. They recognize their divine right to prosperity rather than questioning their worthiness. But here's where things get truly fascinating. Now, what Florence discovered in that moment of revelation cuts straight to the heart of our relationship with prosperity. The truth she uncovered is that poverty isn't simply the absence of money, it's the visible symptom of an inner disconnection. Think about that journey of awareness for a moment. We've been conditioned to believe that lack is something that happens to us, a circumstance beyond our control, when in reality, it's a reflection of our internal alignment with the invisible powers that shape material reality. If Florence's wisdom on money as conscious energy resonated with you, don't miss what's coming next. Subscribe now to continue your journey into abundance consciousness with weekly insights, practical rituals, and transformative techniques that most people will never discover. Each video builds upon these foundational principles, creating a complete system for financial liberation and spiritual wealth. Hit the subscribe button below to ensure these teachings reach you exactly when you need them most. Your prosperity journey doesn't end here. It's just beginning. Subscribe now, and let's transform your relationship with abundance together. This hidden truth transforms our entire understanding of abundance. When we struggle financially, we're not experiencing bad luck or punishment. We're witnessing the perfect mathematical precision with which the universe mirrors our dominant thoughts and beliefs about money. The mindset shift here is profound. Money itself is neither your enemy nor some neutral tool. It's a faithful collaborator, waiting patiently for the right signal from a mind trained in dignity, respect, and knowledge of universal laws. Like any relationship, your connection with money responds to how you treat it. The transformation begins when you stop seeing money as something to fight for and start recognizing it as an ally ready to serve your highest purpose. Florence's revelations offer us a pathway to becoming conscious co-creators of our financial reality. Through deliberate dialogue with the energy of money, yes, actual communication, we can reprogram our relationship with abundance at the deepest level. This isn't about superficial affirmations or visualizing luxury, cars. It's about fundamentally shifting your identity, recognizing that you're not separate from the flow of prosperity, but an essential part of its movement through the world. The impact of this understanding ripples through every decision you make. When you speak to money with respect rather than fear, when you release it with gratitude rather than resentment, when you receive it as your natural birthright rather than an undeserved windfall, everything changes. Your entire financial journey begins to unfold according to different rules. I want to go even deeper into the practical methods Florence discovered for establishing this conscious dialogue with money. But first, I'm curious, does this perspective on money as a responsive, intelligent energy resonate with your own experiences? Write, "Money hears me" in the comments if you've ever sensed that your financial situation responds to your thoughts and feelings about wealth. Let's explore the revelation that truly shattered Florence's perception of money and might just transform yours as well. When we look at money, we see paper, metal, or numbers on a screen. But this is merely the outer shell of something far more profound. The real substance of money is not physical at all. It's the living energy that animates it, a conscious force that responds directly to vibration, word, and intention. This insight represents a paradigm shift in our understanding of wealth. Money functions much like a seed responding to its environment. Planted in soil rich with fear, resentment, or unworthiness, and it struggles to grow. But nurture it with recognition, gratitude, and certainty, and it flourishes beyond measure. The journey toward abundance begins when we realize that prosperity isn't governed by external economic forces alone, but by invisible causes rooted in our thoughts, emotions, and the words we speak about money. The remarkable revelation is that these aren't just metaphors, they're the operating principles behind what appears to be random financial fortune or misfortune. Florence's own life became the laboratory for this discovery. After experiencing devastating loss and scarcity following her divorce, she found herself one evening holding her last coin, but instead of cursing her fate or sinking deeper into despair, she made a decision that would alter the course of her destiny. In that moment of clarity, Florence chose to honor the presence of money instead of rejecting it. She spoke to that coin as one would address a friend who had been mistreated, asking forgiveness for years of contempt and fear. The mindset transformation was immediate. But what followed was even more remarkable. Unexpected work opportunities, doors opening where before there had only been walls. This wasn't coincidence or luck. It was the perfect demonstration of the hidden truth that money remembers how we treat it. Like any intelligent energy, it responds to the quality of attention we give it. Florence's breakthrough teaches us that behind every financial circumstance lies a history of relationship, of how we've spoken to, thought about, and treated the energy of abundance. Have you ever noticed how your attitude toward money seems to affect its flow in your life? Type energy follows attention. If you've experienced this connection between your thoughts and your financial reality, what Florence discovered goes even deeper into the architecture of prosperity. Money functions as an intelligent energy, not in some abstract metaphorical sense, but as a genuine responsive force that remembers every interaction. Think of it as a field of consciousness that records every act of love or disdain, every sincere invitation or attempted manipulation. The breakthrough realization is that money holds memory of how you've treated it throughout your entire life. This revelation dismantles our conventional understanding of wealth creation. Money doesn't originate from banks, businesses, or economic systems. These are merely the physical channels. The true source of money is the mental field of those who call it forth. We don't receive money based solely on our skills or efforts, but according to what our inner field is prepared to receive. This explains why two people with identical talents and opportunities can experience dramatically different financial realities. The catalyst for transformation lies in understanding the distinct energetic signatures we project. Florence observed that most people unconsciously adopt the posture of a perpetual beggar pleading, hoping, worrying about money, which energetically signals money to flee. It's a vibrational contradiction that keeps prosperity at arm's length. The mindset shift that changes everything is moving into what Florence called the loving commander position, approaching money with the calm certainty of someone who knows they have the divine right to prosper. Think about how differently a loyal dog responds to someone who cowers in fear versus someone who calls with loving confidence. Money, as strange as it might sound to our conditioned minds, responds to this same dynamic. It's drawn to those who command with certainty, while repelled by those who beg with anxiety. This isn't about arrogance, but about recognizing your legitimate place in the natural flow of abundance. The journey toward financial liberation begins with this fundamental shift in identity, from recipient to source, from beggar to commander, from passive observer to active creator of your prosperity. When you adjust your internal relationship with money, the external manifestation naturally follows. If this perspective is shifting how you see your relationship with money, type "commanding, not begging" in the comments to mark this moment of awareness in your prosperity journey. At the core of Florence's teachings lies a fundamental principle that underpins all material manifestation. Consciousness is the root of all money. When we truly grasp this concept, it becomes clear that money as energy is infinitely malleable, responding precisely to clear thought and powerful word. The ancient Hermetic principle, as above, so below, as within, so without, reveals the metaphysical architecture of prosperity. Your external financial reality will always mirror your internal financial consciousness with mathematical precision. This revelation forces us to confront perhaps the most important question on our abundance journey. What inner image do you hold of money? When you think about wealth, do you see it as a trustworthy friend or a treacherous enemy? Is it a blessing that enriches lives or a necessary evil that corrupts? The answer to these questions isn't merely philosophical. It defines your entire relationship with prosperity at the energetic level, determining whether you remain open to abundance or unconsciously block its flow. The profound insight here is that your financial blueprint operates like invisible programming, code running in the background of your life. Money represents one of the most direct and immediate ways the universe responds to your inner instructions. The words you habitually use when discussing finances, the emotions you associate with wealth, the stories you tell yourself about rich people, all of these elements form commands that money faithfully executes. This understanding illuminates the path to transformation. Changing your words literally changes your financial destiny. When you shift from saying, "I can't afford that," to "How can I create the resources for this?" you're not just using different phrases, you're rewiring the fundamental instructions your consciousness is sending to the universal field. The awakening that Florence experienced wasn't merely a psychological shift, but a recalibration of her entire relationship with the energy of money. Every thought about money leaves an imprint in the invisible realm. Every emotion attached to wealth either attracts or repels its flow. This isn't mystical thinking, but the practical application of energy principles that govern all manifestation. If you're beginning to recognize how your inner dialogue about money has been shaping your financial reality, type "rewiring my money code" in the comments as your first step toward conscious wealth creation. Now let's uncover one of the most crucial revelations in Florence's work. Money, being a form of energy, requires a clean and willing channel to flow through. This is where many of us unknowingly sabotage our prosperity. When our inner landscape is cluttered with resentment about past financial mistakes, guilt about receiving abundance, or shame about our money history, we create invisible barriers that money simply cannot penetrate. The transformation begins when we recognize these blockages and consciously clear the pathway. Think about how water flows through a pipe. If the pipe is clogged with debris, even the strongest pressure cannot force a smooth flow. Your consciousness works in precisely the same way. The purification of your money channel represents a critical milestone on your journey toward authentic abundance. This leads to Florence's revolutionary perspective on treating money as a genuine partner in your life's journey. She observed that most people attempt to prosper while maintaining an adversarial relationship with wealth. But consider this. Would any relationship thrive if built on fear, contempt, or suspicion? Of course not. Money responds to the same dynamics as any partnership. It requires honest communication, deep respect, and clear agreements. The breakthrough moment comes when you realize no one can truly prosper with money while inwardly despising or fearing it. Perhaps most profound is understanding money's role as both guide and mirror in your life. Your financial circumstances reflect with perfect accuracy the value you assign yourself, the clarity of your intention, and the purity of your purpose. Money shows you where your consciousness needs healing and expansion. When you begin to honor money as this faithful messenger, you activate what Florence called divine permission to prosper, the internal shift that removes all resistance to receiving your good. This mirror quality of money offers us unprecedented insight into our own development. Every financial surge or drought, every unexpected gain or loss, serves as feedback on your relationship with universal abundance. The wisdom lies in learning to interpret these signals not as random events, but as precise responses to your energetic broadcasting. If you're recognizing how money has been mirroring your inner world all along, type faithful reflection in the comments as you begin to see your financial history through this transformative lens. Let's explore what Florence discovered about the revolutionary principle that separates those who struggle financially from those who prosper abundantly. She called it the law of command, and it reveals the radical difference between asking and commanding when it comes to prosperity. Most people approach their financial lives as perpetual beggars, hoping, wishing, and pleading for better circumstances. But Florence discovered that the metaphysical law governing abundance responds only to the vibration of authority and unwavering certainty. This insight represents a profound identity shift on your abundance journey. Think about the energetic difference between someone who timidly asks, "Please, can I have more money?" versus someone who declares with quiet certainty, "I command wealth to flow to me now." The first approach carries the vibration of lack and unworthiness. It assumes that abundance is outside yourself and must be granted by some external authority. The second emanates from an entirely different consciousness, one that recognizes your inherent right to prosperity. The revelation that changed everything for Florence was understanding that the universe, operating through precise and immutable laws, does not respond to lamentation or supplication. It answers only to commands pronounced with unwavering conviction by those who recognize themselves as rightful heirs to divine abundance. This isn't arrogance. It's alignment with the fundamental nature of creation. The cornerstone of this practice lies in what Florence called spiritual authority. This power emerges naturally when you consciously recognize that you are not a stranger in the universe begging at the door of prosperity, but a child and heir of the creative principle itself. The awakening to this truth fundamentally alters how you relate to money and all forms of abundance. Consider how differently a royal heir approaches the palace treasury compared to a street beggar. The heir enters with calm confidence, knowing their rightful access. The beggar approaches with anxiety and doubt. Yet in the realm of universal abundance, we have all been given the birthright of prosperity. Most of us simply haven't claimed it. If you're ready to step into your spiritual authority and move from asking to commanding your good, type divine heir in the comments as your declaration of this transformational shift in identity. Now let's explore Florence's practical protocol for turning these spiritual principles into tangible results. She developed a precise methodology for issuing effective commands that transform your financial reality. The process begins with establishing mental stillness, creating that quiet internal space where your word carries maximum power. This mental preparation isn't merely relaxation. It's a deliberate alignment with your highest authority. From this centered state, you then choose exact words that carry no ambiguity or doubt. The universe responds to precision, not confusion. The revelation that changed countless lives was Florence's insight about emotional anchoring. A command spoken with intellectual understanding, but without emotional. Conviction lacks the vibrational power to reorganize reality. You must feel the truth of your decree in every cell of your being, maintaining what she called absolute certainty throughout the process and beyond. This unwavering stance creates the energetic signature that the universe recognizes and responds to. At the heart of Florence's teaching lies what may be her most potent discovery, the three-word formula, I am divine abundance. This isn't a casual affirmation, but a calibrated decree, designed to activate specific mental laws and cosmic vibrations capable of completely reorganizing your financial landscape. The power of this formula lies in its ability to shift your entire identity rather than merely changing your circumstances. The transformation begins with understanding the profound metaphysical significance of the words, I am. When you declare, I am, you're not expressing hope or desire. You're making a declaration at the most fundamental level of creation. This isn't saying, I want to be, or I hope to become. It's standing firmly in the absolute present moment as the cause rather than the effect. The journey from financial struggle to prosperity happens first at this identity level, where you claim your rightful position as the originating point of abundance rather than its hopeful recipient. If you've ever experienced a moment of clarity where you suddenly realized your own power to shape your financial reality through identity, type creator not recipient in the comments to mark this pivotal shift in consciousness. Let me share with you one of Florence's most powerful practical techniques, what she called the mirror ritual. This simple yet profound practice involves looking directly into your own eyes in a mirror while speaking your prosperity decrees. This isn't merely symbolic. It activates what Florence termed witness consciousness, allowing your declarations to penetrate to the deepest levels of your subconscious mind. The mirror becomes more than glass and silver. It transforms into a portal to your true identity, bypassing the critical faculty that often rejects new programming. This revelation illuminates why many of our attempts at financial transformation fail despite our best intentions. Florence discovered that most people don't struggle with money due to lack of talent, education, or opportunity. The real obstacles lie deeper in the inherited beliefs, emotional patterns, and learned associations that silently sabotage our every attempt to prosper. These invisible barriers operate beneath conscious awareness, creating a gap between what we say we want and what we're energetically aligned to receive. The breakthrough moment on your abundance journey comes when you begin to excavate these hidden programs. Think about the phrases you heard repeatedly about money in your childhood home. Statements like, money is dirty, the rich are selfish, we can't afford that, or money doesn't grow on trees, weren't just casual remarks. They were powerful programming instructions embedding themselves into your developing consciousness. These phrases, absorbed without critical filtering, became automatic mandates that now silently guide your financial decisions and outcomes. The awakening process begins when you recognize that your relationship with money isn't entirely your own creation. It's a tapestry woven from threads of family history, cultural conditioning, and collective consciousness. Recognition isn't about blaming parents or society, but about reclaiming your sovereign power to choose your financial narrative. The transformation accelerates when you identify these inherited thoughts and consciously decide which to keep and which to release. If you've begun to notice how childhood messages about money still influence your financial decisions today, type breaking the pattern in the comments to mark your commitment to conscious reprogramming. To fully liberate ourselves from these limiting beliefs, Florence introduced a profound practice she called the method of the divine witness. This revolutionary approach involves learning to observe your own financial beliefs with a detached clarity of someone examining another person's body during a medical examination. The breakthrough comes when you can step back from your thoughts about money and see them not as absolute truths, but as acquired programs, temporary visitors in your consciousness that can be welcomed or released. This witnessing perspective creates a crucial separation between your essential self and the beliefs you've inherited. When you can say, I notice I believe money is hard to get, rather than money is hard to get, you've already begun the transformation. This subtle shift in perspective creates the space for genuine change to occur without judgment or resistance. Florence discovered that one of the most powerful catalysts for financial transformation is forgiveness. As long as resentment exists toward ancestors who programmed you with scarcity beliefs, toward wealthy people you've envied, or toward yourself for past financial mistakes, the channel of prosperity remains partially blocked. The revelation that changed countless lives was understanding that forgiveness isn't about condoning harmful patterns, but about severing the energetic bonds that keep you tied to old stories. Perhaps the most illuminating insight of all was Florence's recognition that many people unconsciously reject abundance to avoid betraying their family's history of struggle and sacrifice. The inner conflict is real. A part of you desires prosperity, while another part feels guilty for wanting more than your parents or grandparents had. This unconscious loyalty keeps generations trapped in the same financial patterns, despite their best efforts to change. True liberation requires what Florence called spiritual surgery, blessing your family's journey while consciously choosing a different path. This isn't rejection, but evolution, honoring where you came from, while claiming your divine right to expand beyond inherited limitations. If you've sensed this invisible pull between family loyalty and your desire for greater abundance, type conscious evolution in the comments to acknowledge this powerful awareness. Now I want to explore what might be Florence's most transformative insight of all the revolutionary practice of relating to money as a living ally. This perspective shift represents a complete departure from conventional thinking. Rather than treating money as a lifeless tool or an abstract concept, Florence discovered the profound power of approaching it as a spiritual partner that responds, observes, and actively collaborates with your consciousness. This isn't metaphorical thinking, but a practical framework that produces tangible results. The breakthrough occurs when you begin implementing Florence's technique of speaking directly to money. This practice may initially feel unfamiliar, but its impact can be immediate and profound. The process begins by holding actual money in your hands, whether coins, bills, or even a symbolic representation, creating a moment of stillness and concentration. From this centered space, you address money with a clear tone and serene authority. Dear money, I honor and respect you. You are my divine ally and come to me multiplied and blessed. I welcome you into my life with infinite gratitude. The revelation here is that intention and tone matter profoundly. Florence observed that merely reciting words mechanically produces little change. The transformative power emerges when your voice carries authentic conviction, when your words are infused with genuine respect rather than doubt, sarcasm, or hidden resentment. Money, as conscious energy, responds to the quality of your invitation. Perhaps the most beautiful aspect of this relationship is what Florence called the loving farewell ritual, blessing money each time it leaves your hands. Rather than feeling loss or anxiety when spending, you declare, I release you with love, so you may bless others and return to me multiplied. This simple practice completely reorients your relationship with financial flow. Instead of creating contraction and fear around spending, you establish an expansive energy that ensures money's return through unexpected channels. If you've ever intuitively felt that your relationship with money goes deeper than mere mathematics, type conscious partnership in the comments as recognition of this profound dimension of prosperity. Complementing the loving farewell is what Florence discovered to be equally transformative, the conscious welcome ritual. This practice revolutionizes how you receive money, whether it's your regular salary, an unexpected gift, or even finding a penny on the sidewalk. Instead of casually accepting funds, or worse, diminishing their importance, it's just a little extra. You pause to consciously declare, Blessed money, I receive you with joy and gratitude. You are a sign of the abundance flowing through me. You are welcome in my life and my service. This simple yet profound shift strengthens your self-esteem and solidifies your alliance with prosperity at the energetic level. Florence documented countless cases where this one practice alone created remarkable transformation. Money received with genuine appreciation tends to stay and multiply, while money taken for granted or received with guilt tends to disappear quickly. This insight reveals the subtle psychology and metaphysics of financial flow. Every transaction is a form of energy exchange that either strengthens or weakens your prosperity consciousness. Now I want to explore Florence's discovery about the power of consistent ritual in manifestation. She found that ritual is the most precise instrument human consciousness possesses to transform the invisible into the visible. The subconscious mind, which ultimately governs our financial magnetism, responds not primarily to logical arguments, but to the repetition of gestures, symbols, and words charged with intention. This revelation explains why sporadic prosperity efforts often fail, while consistent sacred routines produce lasting results. The centerpiece of Florence's method is creating what she called an altar of abundance, dedicating a small space in your home as a visible reminder of your alliance with universal prosperity. This isn't about worship, but about conscious focus. On this altar, you place physical money, bills and coins, a white candle symbolizing divine light, fresh flowers representing life force, a glass of water for flow, and perhaps a gold or silver coin as a vibrational anchor. Each element serves a specific metaphysical function in establishing your connection to the flow of abundance. If you're beginning to sense how these sacred routines could transform your relationship with money, type conscious ritual in the comments to mark your recognition of this powerful dimension of prosperity work. Let me share with you one of Florence's most powerful revelations about the manifestation process itself. She discovered that the universe doesn't respond to vague wishes or ambiguous pleas. It answers only to detailed plans and clear orders. This principle of divine design transforms wishful thinking into conscious creation. Unlike passive hoping or generalized affirmations like, "I want more money," Florence taught that true manifestation requires the deliberate act of visualizing your ideal financial life with architect-level precision and engineer-like specificity. Think about it. No architect would begin construction without a complete, precise blueprint that specifies every measurement and material. Your prosperity consciousness operates by the same principle. The clarity of your financial vision directly determines the precision of its manifestation. When you define exactly how much money you need, through which channels it will arrive, in what time frame, and how it will impact both your life and others, you're providing the universal intelligence with clear coordinates for manifestation. Florence developed a remarkable method to strengthen this visualization process, what she called the mental abundance map. This powerful practice involves literally drawing your desired financial scenario on paper, complete with figures, images, places, and experiences. Next to each element, you place key words that describe not just the physical components, but the emotional qualities and purpose of each aspect. This visualization map, reviewed daily and placed somewhere visible, becomes the blueprint that informs both your subconscious mind and the universe about your chosen financial reality. The deeper revelation behind all these practices is Florence's understanding that money functions as the most precise thermometer of self-esteem. Your financial circumstances reveal with mathematical accuracy the level of self-worth you hold at the deepest level of your being. This isn't about conscious desires. We all consciously want prosperity, but about the unconscious permission you've given yourself to receive abundance. Money shows you exactly where healing is needed in your relationship with yourself. When you truly recognize money as this faithful mirror, financial challenges transform from sources of stress into opportunities for profound self-discovery and healing. Every unexpected expense, every income plateau, every reluctance to charge what you're worth becomes valuable feedback on your inner relationship with abundance. If you're beginning to see how your financial circumstances have been reflecting your self-worth all along, type "mirror of worth" in the comments to acknowledge this profound insight on your prosperity journey. Now, I want to reveal what might be Florence's most profound insight into the nature of our financial struggles. She discovered that money carries not only individual memory, but collective memory as well. Like an invisible inheritance, the stories, beliefs, and emotions passed down through your family lineage shape your relationship with prosperity at levels deeper than conscious awareness. This ancestral imprinting explains why even those who consciously desire wealth often find themselves unconsciously repeating the same financial patterns as their parents and grandparents. This revelation illuminates why traditional approaches to financial transformation often fall short. No amount of positive thinking or strategic planning can override these deeply embedded ancestral patterns unless they're directly addressed and consciously released. Florence observed that money, as intelligent energy, responds not just to your personal vibration, but to the entire energetic lineage you carry within your DNA and subconscious mind. The liberation begins when you recognize that your financial story didn't start with you. The fears, beliefs, and limitations you experience around money often originated generations before your birth. Perhaps your great-grandparents lived through economic depression, your grandparents associated wealth with exploitation, or your parents equated financial success with moral corruption. These impressions become energetic grooves that your consciousness naturally follows unless consciously redirected. The awakening that Florence facilitated was helping people understand that they could honor their ancestors' journey while choosing a different financial path for themselves. This doesn't mean rejecting your heritage, but evolving beyond its limitations, becoming the transitional figure who transforms the financial destiny of your entire family line, past and future. The ultimate destination on this journey is what Florence called the miracle of sacred communication, that exquisite stage where your dialogue with money becomes as natural and fluid as breathing. At this level, prosperity ceases to be a distant goal or occasional blessing and transforms into the logical, mathematical consequence of a consciousness perfectly aligned with universal provision. Abundance becomes your natural state rather than an exception to be celebrated or questioned. If you recognize how ancestral patterns might be influencing your own relationship with money, type "conscious lineage healer" in the comments to declare your role in transforming your family's financial story. As we draw our exploration of Florence's revolutionary teachings to a close, I hope you've glimpsed the transformative potential of conscious communication with money. This wisdom isn't meant to simply be heard. It's meant to be lived, embodied, and integrated into your daily relationship with abundance. The true measure of understanding comes through practice, through those moments when you catch yourself slipping into old patterns and consciously choose a different response. I create these videos to share these timeless principles that have transformed countless lives throughout the decades since Florence first discovered them. If you found value in these insights and want to continue this journey of financial consciousness, consider subscribing to join our community of conscious creators and abundance practitioners. This conversation about money as intelligent energy resonates differently with each person who encounters it. If something in this message specifically illuminated your own relationship with abundance, write "awaken partnership" in the comments. I read every comment and am genuinely curious about which aspects of Florence's teachings speak most directly to your experience. If this exploration has brought you value, a simple like helps these teachings reach others who might benefit from this perspective on prosperity consciousness. Your engagement creates ripples that extend far beyond what we can see. There's a video right here that explores Florence's teachings on the power of word and thought in creating your entire life experience, not just your financial reality. Click and continue this journey of discovery with me there, as we explore how these same principles apply to health, relationships, and purpose.